In my junior year of high school, the school bully handed me a love letter just to make his ex, the school belle, jealous. I thought his affection was real. I ran towards him, putting all my effort into helping him with his studies, hoping we'd get into the same college. Years later at a reunion, while drunk, he turned red-eyed towards her and snapped, "You were mad at me back then. You said give it to her, so I did." Later, there was a fire at the mall where we worked. He didn't even glance at me. He grabbed her and ran. Now, experiencing life anew, seeing that letter again, with all the classmates teasing me, I calmly handed it to the school belle's desk mate and said, "Isn't it for you, Lisa? Why joke around with me?" The evening after the rain was hot and stuffy. Outside the window, orange-red clouds formed a hazy backdrop. Class hadn't started yet, and the hallway was noisy. I sat at my desk, outwardly reading, but my hands were clenched tight. It felt like a ridiculous dream, but I could still feel the suffocating sensation of being trapped in a fire. Just like the first time, Wade's buddy stood at the door, shouting, "Who's Xing from your class?" Someone asked me to give her something. He held a love letter, a bunch of baby's breath flowers, and a cup of milk tea. Such simple, sincere tokens of affection. If I weren't dragged into this, I would have given my blessings. My desk mate Sunny kept sketching over her math problems. She was really pretty, even when angry. No wonder so many at school called her the Belle. The class's uproar grew louder. Finally, just like last time, she turned to me annoyed and said, Xing, they are calling you. Go respond." Meeting her teasing gaze, I didn't feel shy or embarrassed this time, just pure anger. They were already close to getting together, but dragged me in because of their petty quarrels. I foolishly thought the confession was genuine. In reality, I was just a pawn. If it ended with tonight's farce, I might not despise them so much. But what happened next was Wade continuing to play along and getting together with me to make her jealous. After the confession, he'd come to my desk every day. On hot afternoons with power cuts, he'd fan me and say, "Lisa, don't I even have the right to fan you? The wind wants to go to you." If I forgot to eat dinner, he'd bring it to the classroom. I'd shyly refuse, saying, "I won't agree to be with you." "Lisa, agreeing to be with me and eating on time are two different things. If you don't eat, I'll just sit here." He'd even bring over problems to ask me during class. He was so earnest, saying, "Lisa, even though there's a big gap between us now, I'll work hard to get into the same school as you. You'll say yes eventually." For some reason, at that age, it was easy to be moved and foolish. I believed someone liked me enough to change for me. I spent the last year helping him with his grades, thinking we'd be together. All my shyness, concerns, and occasional joy, he knew it all. But he just watched me fall and used me to make another girl feel possessive. He needed me to confirm she cared about him, while she needed me to prove he liked her enough to use me, a fool, to make her mad. Their emotional tug-of-war trampled over me. Thinking of this, I snapped at Sunny. I never had a nickname like Xing. My name is Lisa. Sunny had friends who'd give each other nicknames. At that age, girls liked cute, similar-sounding names. Back then, with everyone taunting and the two main people pretending, I didn't realize it immediately. My voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for everyone around us to hear. Everyone started focusing on Sunny. "Lisa, go get your love letter. Why use your desk mate as a shield?" Some classmates mocked. Sunny, now furious, threw her problems on the desk. "Well, it's not me. Who'd like someone like him?" Just then, Wade entered the classroom holding a basketball and heard her. His face looked worse than the first time. He put down the ball, took the letter, and walked to me saying, "Lisa, do you want to be with me?" The class erupted in cheers. This time, it was different from the last. Before, his buddy just threw the letter on my desk. For the next few days, Sunny ignored him, prompting him to genuinely pursue me. So, the situation wasn't as embarrassing. Nobody outside his friends and the two of them knew the letter was initially for Sunny. The letter started without a name, just two smiling star faces. I thought it was his way of being intimate, not knowing I was never the Xing he mentioned. "No," I said calmly, looking into his bright eyes. "It's okay. I'll keep trying," he replied, unfazed and determined. Sunny, seeing this, burst into tears and stained her math problems. Just then, our homeroom teacher, Ms. Anna, entered. Seeing the noisy classroom and the flowers on the desk, she tapped the desk and asked, "What's going on?" The room fell silent immediately. The homeroom teacher wasn't supposed to come for another half hour. Why was she early this time? Because I brought her here. At around 2 p.m., I purposely went to ask a difficult math question when she was busy. She had promised me during our evening study session that she would come to the classroom early to help me with the problem. I timed it perfectly to make sure she would walk into this mess. I wanted to blow this thing up, make them lose face. In my previous life, Wade and I got together after the college entrance exam, but during our senior year, someone reported us for an early relationship. The report was sent to the principal's office. To set an example, we were made to read a self-reflection in front of the entire school on a Monday. That was the most humiliating moment of my life. And it wasn't just the embarrassment, my mom found out about it too. She slapped me hard, calling me shameless. Mom had always emphasized not to fall in love early since freshman year. She said studying was the only chance for families like ours. I didn't know how to respond to her. That incident led to constant tension at home and school during my final year, and I didn't do well in the college entrance exams. Wade, however, performed exceptionally well, thanks to the one-on-one tutoring I gave him for over a year. We did end up at the same college. When we got our acceptance letters, our homeroom teacher just asked me one disappointed question: was it worth it? I still remember Wade's single sorry, which he said when he saw the slap mark on my face. But was that slap the only thing he should be sorry for? After the college entrance exam, he had countless chances to clear things up during our university years. Wasn't my youth worth anything? Didn't I deserve someone who truly liked me? I kept wondering who reported us. Even the other classmates were on edge. Since it wasn't a girls' school, anyone could be reported for such things. Some even planned to sneak into the principal's office to compare the handwriting on the report. Wade stopped them then, saying, "Let it be. Let's focus on the college entrance exams." During that period, he approached me even more frequently. His mood was unusually good, which I took as a positive outlook on his part. Later, when we received our acceptance letters, I saw some students cleaning the principal's office. By some twist of fate, I went to help and found the report letter in the corner. I recognized the handwriting immediately. It was the same as Sunny's. I was baffled. I thought we got along well. Why did she do it? What did she gain by reporting me and making me uncomfortable? I picked the letter from the trash and showed it to Wade, who just told me, "Maybe she had a grudge against you, but it's been so long, there's no point in bringing it up." I didn't speak. He pinched my cheek and said, "I didn't know our Lisa was so petty." Since that incident, my mom brought it up almost every day. I lived under that pressure and judgment daily, but to him, it was just a trivial matter. But people do deceive themselves. I convinced myself that he just felt it was too long ago to matter. But thinking back, when he saw the report letter, what was he thinking? Was he recalling our humiliation on the platform? Or was he worried about Sunny being found out and getting into trouble? Just like how he kept treating everyone to drinks back then, not to comfort me, but because he finally saw his long-admired person noticing him. And I was so naive. I didn't think about it that way. After all, who would joke about their feelings and others' feelings? But looking back, they left a lot of clues. After the reporting incident, Wade often bought milk tea for the group, including my desk mate Sunny, but she usually threw hers straight into the trash. I thought she just didn't like Wade, and never thought more about it. When it came time to reassign seats, I privately told her I wanted to sit with someone else. I thought we'd stop being desk mates, but she acted like nothing happened and sat with me again. Ironically, I joked with friends, "Looks like my desk mate doesn't hate me, but Wade." I even told this to Wade, advising him not to bully other classmates. Thinking back, he must have been thrilled, right? I was proving to him how much his crush cared about him yet again. The more I think about it, the more disgusted I feel. What did I do to deserve running into these two nasty pieces of work in one relationship? Alright, they like to play, huh? This time, let's see who gets played. The homeroom teacher asked who the vase of baby's breath was for. Sunny lifted her head, eyes red, and pointed at me, softly saying, "It's for Lisa." Unable to hold back any longer, I deliberately raised my voice. "Are you done with your act? You know very well who it's for." My words infuriated Wade. He glared at me coldly. "Ha, no more acting, huh? Let's see if he dares to come find me after this." To save face for the three of us, the homeroom teacher took us to the office. She sat in a chair and looked at Wade, saying, "Speak up, what's going on?" Sunny cried even harder. Her family was very strict, and she dared not let them know about this early relationship. But she knew my family was the same, and yet she still wrote that report. Watching me humiliated on the platform, watching my mom rush over, worried. Standing in the office, Sunny kept her head down, tears hitting the floor in big drops. She was nervously picking at her nails, while I coldly observed everything, feeling like an outsider, just watching a show. My attitude seemed to enrage Wade even more, because he had always been confident, always quick to win over girls with his decent face. He shot me a defiant look and said, "I like Lisa. It's got nothing to do with her." Hearing this, Sunny finally breathed a sigh of relief. Seriously, these two can be so disgusting. Like people would be moved by their love story or something. To protect you, I'll drag an unrelated person into this mess. Now you see how much I like you, right? I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Wade glared at me again. I rolled my eyes at him. I said directly, are you moved by yourself? Seriously, who you like doesn't matter to me at all. But for a guy, at least have the guts to admit what you've done. Can you swear it was for me? Can you even spell my name right? You illiterate. Lisa, no personal attacks, the homeroom teacher said. The teacher almost laughed, but quickly held it in. No way I would listen to her. I've lived this life and the last one, and I'm not getting screwed over by these two idiots. Might as well end myself right now. I pretended to be extremely angry, even shedding a few misunderstood tears. Who did I attack personally? Teacher, I'm just trying to get my education. Why should I take the fall for someone else's drama? If someone gave a love letter, it's not something you just give randomly. There are cameras all over the school. They'd show who was close to who. My family is strict. I would gladly let my mom come here and check the cameras. I haven't had any interactions with this student at all lately. At the mention of calling parents, Sunny panicked. She burst into tears and said, Teacher, it was for me. But I swear I haven't been in a relationship. I was just scared. What a joke. Now Wade was completely dumbfounded. He even framed me out of his supposed heroism. But being forced to take the blame, that just made him seem even worse. Wade froze there, looking at Sunny, then clenched his fists and said coldly, Teacher, yes, I've been bothering Sunny. Please don't blame her. Seeing his fake act, I rolled my eyes again. What was that look? He turned and glared at me. Teacher, he's being mean to me, I said, looking pitifully at the teacher. Wade's stare grew more fierce. Ignoring him, I continued. So Wade was throwing me under the bus to protect his crush on Sunny. Wade said nothing, still glaring. Teacher, we're just here to study. What if I hadn't cleared my name today? I looked at the teacher, eyes red with injustice. The teacher put an arm around my shoulder and looked at Wade and Sunny. No matter what's going on between you, don't drag innocent students into it. You owe Lisa an apology. Having lived two lives, I finally got a reluctant apology from them. Whatever happens next is none of my concern. I left the office and went back to class. The next day, their parents were called to school. We don't know the details of how it was handled, but Sunny was no longer my seatmate. Her eyes were swollen from crying too much these past few days. The funniest part was our homeroom teacher subtly bringing this issue up during a class meeting. It's normal to have feelings at this age, but girls, let me tell you, finding a boyfriend after graduation, what's most important is his character. Think about it. If he can drag an innocent person down, do you think he'll treat you well? And boys, if the girl you like can casually accuse others, does she really deserve your affection? Despite being a math teacher, his literary prowess was impressive. After his indirect criticism, Sunny nearly cried a river, and Wade glared at me countless times. My eyes hurt from all the eye-rolling I did. I never discussed the incident with my classmates, but since it blew up that night, everyone knew. So, during breaks, they became the laughingstock of our class. Wade, I'm not watching the next scripted drama if you're not the writer. Wouldn't you be moved by your own drama? And what's with the crying? You framed someone else, didn't you? Do you think your love is that dirty? Not just crying. She can also point her boyfriend to her seatmate. How terrifying. Sunny couldn't take it anymore and ran out. Wade stormed over to my desk, threw down my workbook, and said, Haven't you had enough? He leaned over, staring down at me. I slapped him hard, and before he could react, I stabbed my pen into the back of his hand. Can't you pick on someone else? Do I owe you two something? I met his eyes coldly. Fine, just you wait. He threw out those words and left. A few kind classmates, worried he might retaliate, volunteered to walk me home. I'm a day student. My mom rented an apartment near the school to take better care of me. We finish evening classes at 9:30 p.m. So everyone was worried for me after Wade's threat. I laughed it off, saying, we're all classmates. Wade wouldn't go that far. I only fear he won't show up. I also wanted to see how far he would go. A few days later, Wade's sidekick, Joe, approached me, saying I should apologize to Sunny to settle this. Otherwise, I'd face the consequences. I purposely provoked him. What consequences? I'm really looking forward to it. Honestly, having lived through this once, I've been holding a grudge. Not just for being deceived, but for all the emotions, time, and energy wasted on him all those years. I fantasized about revenge daily. Finally, one Friday night, I was walking home as usual. At the alley entrance, Wade's guys blocked my way. Sunny stood right beside him, carefully holding his shoulder, and said, Stop it, Wade. I don't want you to get hurt because of me. Wade lightly patted her hand and said, It's okay. I can handle this. He walked closer to me, cornering me against the wall and said, Lisa, a young girl like you doesn't need to play so many games, right? I said we were in this together as classmates. Just apologize to Lisa, and this matter is over. I looked up at him, showing his thug-like demeanor. Reflecting on our years together, I only felt disgusted. I had given him too much credit when I was younger. He had always been this self-important. I mouthed the word asshole to him. Under the night sky, he indeed got furious. His fist was raised high, swinging toward me. I closed my eyes, bracing myself, hoping he wouldn't hold back. But it didn't go as I expected. His fist didn't land on me, but hit the wall beside me instead. He was momentarily stunned, with a somewhat hurt look in his eyes. By then, the sound of police sirens was already blaring. His friends scattered, some getting caught on the spot. Wade looked at the police and then back at me and said, "You did this on purpose." I ignored him and yelled, "Officer, help me." Since he didn't harm me in the end, and was still babbling about pursuing me, there were no surveillance cameras in that place. However, his harassment got him and his friends arrested and lectured at the police station for a few days. When the school found out, Wade was put on probation. Back at school, I'd been expecting him to come after me again, because I really wanted to send him to jail. But he suddenly chickened out. He kept calling me a manipulative girl, saying he couldn't afford to mess with me anymore. He spread rumors that I had set a trap to frame him, and with all the drama TV shows going around, people began saying I could survive till the final episode in the palace intrigue. To that, I retorted, yeah. He's stupid enough to attack a classmate at night, and when someone calls the cops, he blames them. What? Because he's crazy. We should all go easy on him. So dumb, yet he's good at framing people. Ridiculous. Not long after that, things calmed down over there. Boring, isn't it? I was ready for their next move. But now, in this new life, I wasn't just after this. My mom had been saving my New Year money in my name, and I had the card. Over the years, it had accumulated to around 30. The password was set by me, and thanks to my past life, I had quite some knowledge of stock trading. In just half a semester, I doubled the money several times. I didn't hide it from my mom. Since Dad passed away early, it had been tough for her to support the family alone. I told her I initially simulated trades, and then bet a small amount. When I realized I was right more frequently, I made up various stories to put her mind at ease. With this money, life became much easier for Mom and me. Soon, the World Cup was happening. I placed bigger bets, and, within a month, I earned wealth beyond my wildest dreams from my past life. Suddenly, it felt like the purpose of being reborn was to earn as much money as possible. As for why I remembered most scores so clearly, I had to thank Wade's constant chatter in my ear from the previous life. Previously, I was in the top 3 in my class, but only the top 20 in the grade. With enough money, I enrolled in private tutoring classes. By the time of the senior year mock exams, I was in the top 5 in the grade. Our school was strict about preventing early relationships, partly because our area wasn't well developed, and many students came from modest backgrounds. Education was the best path for most of us. I didn't hold any ill will towards my classmates. In fact, I had received a lot of help from them, so I used part of my money to help the less fortunate in my class. I also funded free tutoring sessions through a teacher. When people asked why I suddenly became so generous, I blamed it on my mom, saying she won an 800,000 lottery, bought a house with some of it, and believed in sharing good fortune. I didn't want to brag too much, though, but within my means, I was willing to help those around me. Sunny and Wade didn't join the tutoring because of their pride. More so, it was due to their emotional drama. Without my involvement, they still weren't together. They always seemed to need others to validate their relationship. While we were busy preparing for college entrance exams, they were still questioning each other's feelings. To make Wade jealous, Sunny began dating the school bully. Wade fought for her, got injured, and ended up in a coma. So, almost every day, Sunny was crying in the classroom. When girls comforted her, she'd say, "I didn't mean to. I thought he didn't like me anymore." I never expected him to go that far. But we're doomed. My parents will never agree. They kept going on like that, as if they wouldn't make it to graduation. Maybe it's a bit twisted, but it seemed like the final stretch of senior year was more bearable because of their drama. Perhaps they didn't think so. Surprisingly, Wade returned to school after his discharge, and then he started targeting me. Damn, instead of acting out his sad love story with Sunny, he pestered me every day. He'd stare at me during class, making me uncomfortable. When the bell rang, he'd walk towards me step by step. My friends and I were ready for anything. I even clutched a fruit knife, wondering if it would count as self-defense. Yet, he suddenly said, "Lisa, when are you going to tutor me? We've wasted enough time already." Tutoring? I kinda had a hunch. This guy probably got a knock on the head and remembered his past life or something. But what does it have to do with me? The more I think about it, the dumber it sounds. In our situation, does he really think I'd tutor him? I gave him a cold look and said, "Who are you?" He actually looked upset. "Lisa, you've changed. Need me to call a doctor for you?" "Lisa, I knew you still cared about me. I'm really fine now." After he left the hospital, he was even more disgusting. Mental illness needs treatment too, you know. Haven't you been told that before? I kept mocking him. He paused for a moment, then with a hurt look said, "Sorry, didn't mean to bother you." This pity act is ridiculous. Why not go to his destined love and ask her for help? Now he's showing up here to embarrass himself. What a joke. Are the standards for actors this low now? I thought I'd be done with him soon, with only 2 months and 10 days left before the college entrance exams. But these 2 months and 10 days felt like eternity. I was on pins and needles. Every day felt endless. Wade acted like his brain was broken. Every day, he did these self-pitying things. Every morning when I arrived at class, there was breakfast on my desk that he bought. He'd stand there, cautiously looking at me and say, "I remember you like these. If you don't, I can buy something else." Wade, are you out of your mind? Stop playing these stupid games with me, or I'll have to send you to either a mental hospital or the police station, I threatened. "Lisa, why have you become so heartless?" His eyes got a bit red. This red-eye problem didn't get fixed in 2 lifetimes. I really hope he can work and save up to get it treated in this life. But my threats had no effect on him. He brought me lunch again. "Wade, why don't you go deliver food for a living? You clearly love delivering food. It's a perfect career for you. Is it just me you want to pester?" "Lisa, I just want to make sure you're eating well. This is driving me crazy." Seeing I didn't respond, he added, "Lisa, I have the right to choose who to be good to." This guy is nuts. I've given up reasoning with him. I finally contacted our class teacher. "Sorry, dear teacher, I'll repay your trouble with some good stock tips after graduation." I complained that Wade was harassing me. The teacher tried to talk to him a few times. He wouldn't change his ways. In the end, the school had no choice but to have him study from home. Anyway, these last couple of months were mainly for review and exams. Plus, he still had his probation. When he was leaving, he came to see me. Looking seriously upset, he asked, "Lisa, do you really hate me that much?" I knew what he was talking about, but I pretended not to. "What are you talking about? If you keep this up, I'll have to call the police." "Lisa, you really don't remember. You wanted me in jail last time, didn't you? How could you be so cruel? Are you kidding? Who lets you call me that? Did I tell you to corner me at night? Are you good at anything other than getting dumber by the day? Oh wait, also getting more annoying by the day." I didn't hold back at all, though I couldn't understand why he remembered our past life and didn't go find Sunny to rekindle things with her, instead bothering me. But I wouldn't pass up the chance to sting him with my words. No, that's not what I meant. He was flustered, unsure how to explain. "Just stop bothering me, it's really disgusting." With that, I turned and went back to the classroom. Wade didn't linger. He left the school quietly. I didn't expect Sunny to come looking for me next. "Is this your plan? Well, you won. He's starting to like you now. Do these idiots think I'm easy to bully? Do they think I'm an idiot just because I haven't exploded yet? Is this your IQ? When it comes to redefining stupidity, you win. Why don't you go to a drama school and stop rehearsing on me daily? Is delusional disorder contagious? Are you both terminally ill? How did I win? Win what? Is there nothing else in your head besides romance?" I wasn't done ranting, but she ran off crying, again. "I swear I'll get you both into a mental hospital sooner or later." Finally, the tough days are over. The college entrance exams are here. I felt both nervous and excited, just like everyone else, despite having done this in my past life. But I was a failure back then. This time, I will reclaim my glory. I was in a good mood, until Wade showed up again, self-pitying as usual. "Lisa, I wish you a bright future." He gave up on the exams, just to wait for me at the school gate to say that. I wasn't moved at all. "I'm so talented, a bright future is a given, right? But what about you? Have you found a good school to repeat your year? If not, maybe try a performing arts prep class. After all, that's your and Sunny's shared passion. As your classmate, I wish you success, but keep your drama to yourselves, alright? Lisa, do we really have to be like this? Are we even that close?" We're not. He muttered a few more disheartened words and then walked away. I grabbed my pen case and exam ticket and headed to the exam hall. I will make sure to live an exciting and fulfilling life. After the exams, our class had one last gathering. Wade came too. While I was laughing and chatting with my classmates, he sat quietly nearby, watching me with the same annoying look. I ignored him, but there was some good news. Since I got a second chance and made some money, those classmates who had dropped out were able to finish high school. I even told them there's someone willing to sponsor their college education, as my mom's old friend, now a business owner. All made up, of course, the kind sponsor, yours truly. The main thing is, I can help someone as long as it doesn't bring me trouble. After dinner, we all went to KTV to sing. Honestly, I'm really stingy, and Wade insisted on tagging along. Fine, don't blame me then. When it was my turn to sing, I purposely chose a Korean song Wade taught me before. It's the theme song of My Sassy Girl, called I Believe. Wade practiced that song so many times. He wanted to sing it to confess his love to Sunny. At our graduation party in the previous life, he sang this song. He sang it for her but lied that it was for me. I was so moved. I listened to it countless times afterward, and he still pretended not to know, teaching me the song calmly. I held the mic and sang along to the beat. He was stunned and didn't even notice when his glass dropped to the floor. After finishing the song, I made an excuse about having something to do at home and left. Wade followed me out. I walked in front, he followed behind. We didn't say a word the whole time, until we were almost at my apartment complex. He couldn't hold back anymore and came toward me, saying with a choked voice, "Lisa, you remember everything, don't you?" "Remember what? Are you going crazy again?" "Yes, I am crazy. You're driving me crazy." He tried to get closer to hug me. I took out a stun gun and said, "Dare to take another step." He raised his hands, nervously saying, "Lisa, trust me, I won't hurt you again." "Ha, you're giving yourself too much credit. You think you can. To be honest, you just disgust me now." "Disgust? Aren't the things you did disgusting?" "Yeah, you're right. I won't bother you anymore." He turned and walked away. That was the last time we met. Because of my rebirth, I gathered lots of known information. After college entrance exams, I invested money I earned from the World Cup into various industries I knew about. Real estate, internet, stocks, funds. During college, I accumulated wealth I could have never imagined before. It's true, money always flows to those who don't need it. I never believed in past lives or destiny before, but this unique experience made me feel like this money was just passing through me temporarily. I returned to my economically backward hometown. There, I started businesses and opened factories. I also invested 50 million to build a school, bringing in more teachers, changing the place because of me. This is the real meaning of my rebirth. Having foreknowledge, how could I be content with petty love and hate? I should become a better, stronger person. I learned about Wade again many years later. I was setting up a new round of motivational scholarships, increasing the quota to 100. Some old classmates had come back as teachers. One of them mentioned Wade, saying they didn't know when he started having mental issues, seeking answers from deities about past and future lives and rebirth. Shockingly, Sunny was always with him, saying she believed he would come back to her. Hearing this, I just smiled faintly. After all, they were relevant people. Learning to love is their lesson, while I have my own tasks. I had a relationship with someone I really admired. We both dedicated ourselves to charity. In this new life, I'm content with who I am now. I was overjoyed when I realized I had been reborn. In the previous life, I left Lisa to save the person I once loved most. Then Lisa died in that fire. I didn't end up with Sunny. There were always inexplicable things pushing us apart. She was very insecure, always needing proof of my love. Even after Lisa's death, she kept asking, does her death make her more important? She said, I could die too. That felt like a bomb. I lost control and slapped her. She ran out crying. I called her, messaged her, but she never replied. A month later, she had a new boyfriend. I confronted her, but got hit by a car. She held me, saying she only wanted to know if I still loved her. Love? We tangled with this question for nearly 10 years. Did she really not know if I loved her? I suddenly felt exhausted, proving my love with numerous actions, leaving work meetings to cook for her, driving over 100 miles to get her favorite food, coming home exhausted, fighting other guys for her, bloody and bruised, to prove my love. I was truly tired. My eyes felt heavier and heavier. At that moment, I thought of Lisa. She probably hated me. She did, from the look in her eyes, cold and filled with disgust. Unable to accept it, I wanted to go back to how things were, but it seemed like I was the only one left in the past. We were never going back. Until that night's song, I felt hopeful again. She must be reborn too. She remembered the past life's events. I can make it up to her. I held on to the last shred of hope and went home with her. Then I heard those nightmare-inducing words. She said she never wanted to see me again. Seeing me would make her sick. She even had a dream about me that was super disgusting. In that dream, I was even grosser, even more despicable. I knew what she meant. Was it just a dream? A dream could make her so disgusted, so repulsed. But what's real? What's fake? Thanks to my luck from a past life, I got into college after repeating a year. It wasn't the same college as hers, but I chose a school in the same city. The city was big, and we never ran into each other. I secretly went to her school a few times to see her. She had really changed, become so much more dazzling. She wasn't Lisa anymore. I stopped bothering her. Using memories from my past life, I grasped onto the information I had and managed to make some money. But I often felt like it was all a dream. If I woke up, my Lisa would be by my side. We'd have a cozy little home, and she'd push me to study for exams. But it seemed like I could never wake up from this dream. I even started to suspect that my past life was the dream. So I searched everywhere for answers. To my surprise, Sunny decided to stick around with me. She had changed too. She no longer needed me to prove how much I loved her. She just wanted me to be like I was before. But who can really go back to the past?